Hey folks, welcome back to Honey Money SG. Now I'm sure by now many of you have heard the news regarding Channel's news agent CNA actually inviting me for a podcast session to talk about personal finance, financial independence, retire early with them. And just when you thought this would be a really good and positive topic to talk about, then you look at the Facebook comments. It's one of the worst that you can ever see when people are talking about FIRE. So in this video, let me just react and maybe respond to some of these comments on a more objective manner, just to share the honest idea behind it and maybe some of the behind the scenes thing that you may not have known about. Now for the record, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can refer to this CNA podcast interview and listen to it, right? Just listen to it. I really talk about ways that you can achieve financial independence, retire early, some of the good financial habits that you can cultivate since young and bring on to your adult life, and maybe how some people can navigate their way through financial independence so that they don't have to rely on their day job. So firstly, let's set things straight for the record, right? If you look at the captions written by CNA, they say that I am a financial analyst and YouTuber. Firstly, the description is only 50% right. I may be a YouTuber, a small one perhaps, but I am definitely not a financial analyst now. I am currently working as a supply chain analyst, and that is more of the logistics side, logistic operations, supply chain kind of thing. So it's totally unrelated to financial analyst. But well, the fact was that I used to be a financial analyst, analyzing and forecasting, doing all this accounting and planning stuff for a company level, not on an individual level. So for people who don't understand what financial analysts do, right, specifically financial planning analysts, what they do is they do what forecast and budgets for the company, so that when the company spends money, they can then compare to the forecast whether they are on track or maybe they should reduce or increase their business spending in other areas. So it's really very different from individual financial planning and analysts. And then there were some comments saying, right, if this person was my financial analyst, I will be doomed. Come on now, I'm not a financial planner, okay? I'm not your insurance agent. You all can go and seek professional financial advice. My job is to entertain you through YouTube. That's why I'm here. So regarding the title, right, it's actually very controversial and very clickbaity. So the title is something like he planned to retire by 35 with USD 1 million. I think this title is really great, you know. It can really draw attention and people to click in it. But it's good for who, you know? It's good for CNA, but not for me. Because I have never specifically mentioned anything about $1 million by 35 within the podcast. If you actually make effort to go and listen to the podcast, you realize that I talk about good habits, how to actually save money, how to actually spend money wisely, but I never talk about the $1 million target in full detail that everyone should go and chase after. This title was actually inferred by my other video talking about early retirement, so maybe some of the team have watched it and kind of inferred what are my plans and strategy regarding it. Of course, if you put this kind of title, it will of course sensationalize the whole thing and attract people to click and comment and spread all the discussion that's going on in the Facebook comment section, right? Come on, man. So this goes to show that most people only read the title but will never follow the content, because the podcast is around 30 minutes. I understand 30 minutes is a lot of your time, but maybe just give a listen, and then after that you can make a fair comment or fair judgment on whether what I'm saying is rubbish, right? Don't just judge a book by its cover. Don't just judge the content by its title. And you know the mainstream media's job is to get as many viewers, as many audience to click on the title and generate discussion, right? That will increase their exposure and reach. So essentially CNA has won. They have got your attention, they have got your interest to click on the title and generate discussion, but it's definitely not good for me because most of the comments are hate comments anyway. But that's fine, you know. Maybe something that I can take away positively from this is that the general demographic actually don't have a very good idea of financial literacy, and that's why the message become increasingly important, right? To spread financial literacy. It's not a cult, it's not a religion nor a politic party. It's more like an option for you to explore, so that you can explore this route, and if it doesn't work out for you, that's fine, right? Just go back to your original route. I think that's the more important thing than really go and have a narrow mindset towards everything. Anyway, let's talk in detail about FIRE, right? Financial Independent Retire Early. It's actually a movement for people to actually gain financial independence through amassing a sizable investment portfolio, and then they can have the option to retire early if they do not want to work anymore. And I think I've mentioned in the podcast many times, retiring early is not about not working, not doing anything, okay? You still need something to stimulate the mind, be it your passion, your hobbies, or maybe some side gigs, some side hustles that you may really want to take on. But in may not pay you really well, but because you have a sizable investment portfolio for your financial independence, you don't need to worry about the money part. You just need to spend more time doing what you really love, and maybe that's the way to your ikigai. So your investment portfolio can consist of a variety of assets, right? Like equities, like bonds, real estates, or even crypto, and business for some people. It's definitely not what most people think, okay? Savings depletion, not say like you reach 1M, then every month you just take like $1,000, $2,000 from that 1M. How long can you sustain? I even see like comments calculating for me, so helpful. Calculating like 35 years old to 85 years old, 50 years. 50 multiplied by the monthly expense, multiplied by the years, and then it's not enough. And then still have to factor in inflation. Some people are very helpful, still help me factor in inflation of 4%. You think I don't understand inflation? I run a finance YouTube channel, but cannot really blame them, because they just base their comments on the title. So if you really understand the safe withdrawal rate of 4%, that means that maybe you need to generate an annual return of 8%, and then you factor in 4% for inflation, and the remaining 4% that is your safe withdrawal rate that you can use without depleting your capital and your investment portfolio. So that's something I've discussed in other videos as well. Of course, for some people, they may think that the 4% safe withdrawal rate is too aggressive. That's fine, just go and adjust according to your standards. Maybe you prefer a 3% safe withdrawal, or even 2.3%, 2.5%. That's all up to your own adjustment. I'm just saying 4% is suitable for me. I'm not telling you 4% is the magic number, but you can choose your own number and adjust the calculation, You don't have to follow. Hey, have you heard about it? Huh? Heard what? I got $100 worth of Apple shares for free. Are you sure or not? How did you even get it? Well, I started using the Weibo app and deposited $2,000 and make 6 buy-in trades. If you don't believe me, you can take a look at my Weibo app right here, showing you $100 worth of Apple shares. Wow, is that really such a good thing for free? Can you teach me how to do it? So you can start by using my Weibo referral link down below, sign up and deposit the first deposit of $2,000 in Singapore dollars and make 6 buy-in trades so that you can qualify for $120 worth of Microsoft shares. Weibo also gives you 0 commission fees and platform fees for all stocks, ETFs and options in the US market. So make sure you sign up for a Weibo account using my link before the expiry date. And with that, let's get back to the video. And talking about following, right, I talk about $1 million that I want to achieve. $1 million is my goal. $1 million is not your goal. So $1 million, when you say it's not enough, is it not enough for you, or is it not enough for me? And if you think it's not enough for me, do you really know me? Do you really understand how I spend? Do you understand what I spend on? Do you know what are my other income sources apart from that $1 million portfolio? So it's really very funny, right? The $1 million is a very attractive title. On one hand, people think it's not attainable. On the other hand, people think it's not enough. So you want to address whether it's attainable or not first, and then you want to address whether it's enough or not. But you realize that both things is all subjected to my own habits, my own spending, and my own personal profile. Of course, if you think for yourself 1 million is not enough, you can go for 2 million, you can go for 3 million, you can go for 5 million, depending on how much spending you have and what are your needs and wants in your life. Whether you want to lead a luxurious life, that's really up to you. I will not judge you based on your personal choice. But who are you to judge me again? Then some people comment on the 1 million, not attainable, not attainable. So not attainable for you or not attainable for me? Sorry to sound like ranting, but it's just a bit upset when people actually talk like that without understanding the other party, right? They just base their own assumptions onto other people and force them to conform to their beliefs. And throughout the podcast, I believe that I have never forced anyone to conform to my own projections and my own target. I have always mentioned that it's always a personal choice whether you want to fire or not. That's really your own business. Some people may not like the fire lifestyle, and that's fine. Just go on to your normal life. That's okay. Not saying that fire must be the goal for everyone, right? In fact, fire is incredibly very difficult and you are going against the norms. That's why you will have a lot of negativity spread on you, like me. And then got some people say, what if you die young, then all these efforts are wasted? I think firstly, why are you betting yourself to die young unless you have existing illnesses or you lead a very unhealthy lifestyle? Then why are you betting yourself to die young? What if you change the other thinking? What if you live till 100 years old? And you realize that you don't have enough retirement funds to live, you have to depend on your children, and by the time your children maybe are sick and tired of taking care of you. Have you ever considered that fact? So for me, I'm always an optimist, right? I always believe that I will live to a ripe old age. I don't bet on myself dying young unless there are any unforeseen accidents that you really cannot control. But within your control, you always try to lead a healthy life, eat a balanced diet, and stay away from unhealthy habits. That's the way to actually live. And I always talk about it's important to enjoy the FIRE process, right? No point scrimping everything. In fact, I live a very frugal life, but I don't really hate it because I do find small enjoyments in saving money, earning money, making side hustles, and getting side income apart from the day job. That's where my enjoyment is. So who are you to judge that I'm living a very sad life? Is that a sad life for you or for me? Maybe y'all can go and think about it. Anyway, let's talk a bit about being interviewed by CNA, right? What are the behind the scenes? What was the process? Some people may have the mindset that I actually have to pay CNA to appear on the show, right? I think that's just ridiculous. Actually, CNA started this podcast very new only. I'm on the episode 2 of the season 1, you know. That's how early this show is. I got an email one day from a CNA team asking me to join them on the podcast. It's talking about personal finance and they wanted me to touch on the topic on financial independence, retire early. So I said, okay, I have the time. I go and take some time off from my work and go and record the podcast with them. I definitely did not go on CNA's doors to go and plead them, request them, please let me be on the interview. Please let me be on the interview. I'm not so hard up for attention. Come on, man. I don't even earn any money. I still have to spend time and effort to go for it. And if you think that the podcast was scripted, right, then it's totally wrong. Because I just went in without any preparation. They did not prepare you like a list of questions that they want to ask you. It's more like a job interview, you know. They ask you these questions, then you just prepare the answers on the spot. And it's a recording podcast. So I really have to think on the spot based on my brain at that point in time, you know. No, zero preparation. Zero ways to script the content, unlike my YouTube video like that. So at least you can give some credit for that, right? Think about it. If you were put into some questions like that, can you really answer that well enough? Anyway, I do have a message to all the FIRE movement chasers, right? Be it whether you are on the financial independence retire early movement or you are considering to join, but you're too afraid to step out and start. Let me just tell you that this will be an incredibly difficult path and you are going against the norm. So you must be ready to step away from the crowd and walk your own path. People around you will definitely pass judgment, whether they are your friends, your families, because they are so ingrained to this normal kind of Singapore dream lifestyle, you know. Everyone must work till 65. If you are not working, you are a bummer. You are not contributing to society. So financial independence, retire early, FIRE, really going against the norm, and you must be used to this kind of negativity and criticism along the way. But FIRE is really a personal choice, right? It's not like a conforming kind of thing, conforming you to some kind of belief that you should take, otherwise you're wrong. It's really a personal choice. It's an option for people to explore. And if you decide that FIRE is not the path for you, then so be it. No one will really blame you. Just do what is necessary for you, and most importantly, enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying it, then there's no point chasing after it just because someone tell you it's good for you. Ultimately, my final words are, you have to do what others are unwilling to do so that one day you can live a life that they are not able to live. So if you want to learn more about my early retirement strategy, I actually detail out in this earlier video where I talk about the $1 million by 35 target. With that, thank you for watching. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.